How's it going, everybody? Welcome to We Do Tech. Now, in my last few reviews, I took a look at a bunch of Cougar's peripherals, namely the Minos X3, the 700M, and today's review is not really going to be any different because I'm going to take a look at the Revenger gaming mouse, and we're going to see how it performs and if it's worth buying. So, with all of that being said, let's get into the review right after this. Do you live in South Africa and want to get yourself some awesome new gaming products? Well, go check out Rebel Tech. They have extremely low prices and they stock all the major brands like ASUS, MSI, Gigabyte, Corsair and many more. So go check out rebeltech.co.za to go get the products you are looking for at a low price. Starting off, the Revenger is retailing for around 900 Rand on Rebel Tech here in South Africa, or about $50 on Amazon. Taking a look at the design of the Revenger, you get a cool design with a space gray top cover with some black accents here and there. The Revenger is mainly made out of plastic but feels high in quality with no plastic creaking when pressing down on it. You also get no sensor rattle when giving it a shake, and also no loose sounding parts when giving it some taps on the desk. All of this tells me that the Revenger does have a very high build quality. Moving to the palmers, you get the Cougar logo, which is backlit, and also just below that you get an open groove, which is also backlit. Both of them feature two lighting zones that give you a nice smooth color glide that looks really awesome. Now, as for the shape of the Revenger, it's more aimed for right-handed users who use a palm style grip, but you can of course use it with a claw or finger style grips as well. As for the size of the Revenger, it has a length of 135mm, a width of 70mm and a height of 45mm. This makes it perfect for almost all size hands, with me personally having more of a medium sized hand. I found it to be very comfortable and was able to use it for a long period at a time, whether it be in gaming or just some productivity work. As for the weight of the Revenger, I found it to be a bit too heavy, weighing in at 117 grams. Now, moving to the left side, you get the curved thumb rest with a textured rubber padding that helps with extra grip. Just above the grip, you get two thumb buttons that are low profile and positioned for quick and easy access. The thumb buttons are a bit harder to press, but that just helps to not accidentally press them by mistake. Moving to the right side, you get the same textured rubber padding with no additional buttons. The curve gives your pinky and ring finger a comfortable resting position and also gives you some additional grip. As for the left and right mouse buttons, they feature Omron switches with a lifespan of over 10 million clicks. The switches are a bit harder to press than what I'm personally used to, but that's not really that big of a deal and I got used to them quite quickly. They are also not overly loud. Along with that, I never felt that there was any actuation delay between pressing the button and the travel distance, which is always a good thing. As for the scroll wheel, it is nice and light with subtle level bumps. It also has a smooth textured rubber grip for more control. Just behind the scroll wheel, you get the DPI selection switch that you press backwards instead of downwards, which I found more comfortable when moving my fingers from the left mouse button to the DPI selection switch. It's of course not really that big of a deal, but I did find it interesting. The DPI switch lets you cycle through the 3 DPI levels ranging from 100 to 12,000, which you can also go set in the software. Along with that, you get 3 DPI indicator LEDs on the front left side that are RGB, and that just lets you know on what DPI level you are on. Take a look underneath the Revenger, you get 3 large glide pads that delivers an incredibly smooth glide. You also get the PixArt PMW3360 optical sensor with a max DPI of 12,000, an IPS of 250 and a max polling rate of 1000 Hz. Taking a closer look at the PMW3360 sensor, I ran a few tests to see how the Revenger will perform. Firstly, I did a line draw test to see if the sensor would pull to any directions. For the vertical, horizontal and diagonal line draw test, I didn't find that it pulled to any directions. Next up was the acceleration test, where I did a quick 360 and then moved back the opposite way at a slower speed to see if it would end up on the same spot, and it did, which gives the Revenger a 1-to-1 ratio. As for the lift-off distance, it was extremely low, with just a single credit card fitting beneath the mouse and the mouse pad, where it was still able to track, which is approximately about 3 millimeters. As for the sensor jump, when you would lift up the mouse and put it back on the mouse pad, I did find that it did occasionally move more upwards, but most of it did stay on a single spot. As for the cable, the Revenger has a 1.8 meter or 5.9 feet non-braided cable with a USB connection on the end. Next up, taking a look at the UIX software that you can go download from Cougar's website, which allows you to create multiple profiles where you can adjust the DPI levels, polling rate, lift-off distance, double-click speed, and a bunch more settings like that. You are also able to assign different commands to each of the 5 buttons and then also the scroll wheel. For these custom keys, you can either have basic keys or media commands, or you can even create your own macros to apply. Lastly, you do also have the lighting controls where you can change the colors or the effects of the 2 lighting areas. The Revenger features 16.8 million different colors with 6 different lighting effects, which are single color breathing, static, color wave, multicolor breathing, multicolor flashing, and then just off. Unfortunately, with none of these effects are you able to change the speeds or the brightness levels. Now then, as for gaming, the Revenger did perform very well, with the shape of the mouse being very comfortable, allowing me to use it for a couple of hours without any fatigue. Then combining that comfort with the 3360 sensor, which is extremely accurate with almost no noticeable flaws, it truly makes the Revenger a great option for only 900 Rand or $50. Now then, some good and bad points about the Revenger, which is mostly good points. Some good ones are the comfort, which is very nice. You're able to use it for long hours on end. It has a 3360 sensor, which is extremely accurate. It has a high quality build. It doesn't feel very plasticky. And then also it has that low lift-off distance, which is always useful if you do lift up your mouse quite a bit when moving it around. Now, for the only bad one that I would say is the weight, which is about 117 grams, which is personally a bit too heavy in my opinion. But that's pretty much it for just the bad ones. It's mostly good ones, of course. But now, Cougar did also bring out a newer model called the Revenger S, which is just an upgrade to this one. The main difference between the two is that the S has a 2000 Hz polling rate, is lighter at about 94 grams, and has a smaller body. Now, unfortunately, I do not have the S to do a review on yet, but I will try to get my hands on one to do a review. But if you do have the option to choose between the two, just go for the Revenger S, because if the normal one is already this good, then the S is going to be amazing. Now, that's pretty much it for this review. If you guys did enjoy it, please like, share, subscribe, and comment like always. Also, if you want to get the Revenger for yourself, you can check out the links in the video description, where you can check it out on Rebeltech if you live in South Africa, or Amazon if you live overseas. But again, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will check all of you next time. Cheers, guys.